Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2, where I'm mainly talking about the combos I prepared for this tournament, or just I prepared to play this deck in general. A while ago, during April, May, during that time when Mubeta just released, I made a couple series of short videos with just about a 1 or 2 minute about specific like the two card combos in Drytrons. And then the way I did that is because it's easier for people who you are doing a test hand, you draw opening like a Zeta Diviner, and you're wondering how does that combo specifically. So you just search Drytron Zeta Diviner, you should be able to see the 1 minute video, and you can just go through everything for like a minute. It's quick, it's easier to find, and there's probably no ads because it's only like a minute or two. So that's why I did that at the very beginning. But some people don't like it, but whatever, fuck those. Um, Now today, since I already finished the tournament, I guess we'll go through more about not only just two card combos or more like an extension about two card combos. So as I start let me start with some of the statement. I think Drytron is a deck where um, an average hand, you don't lose to any singular hand trap except maybe call except maybe Psycho Reader or Draw. But those two, Draw is possible to be in the main. Psycho Reader is almost impossible to be in the main, and therefore, um, I think after I played the tournament, there wasn't that many Draw in the main, and so I can just make a conclusion saying at the current state when I'm recording this, Drytron, at least my build, in my opinion, doesn't lose to any singular hand trap at all for like an average opening hand. If you open bad, you definitely lose. The reason why, so I'll explain this too. Some basic information backgrounds, there are I think about 10 in this one, 10 different basic two card combos involving Alpha Zeta, Alpha Gamma, and Alpha Delta. That's the three where you start with Alpha, and they pretty much function the same. You go Alpha tribute the other one, get Ben 10. That's your Ben 10 axis. Then you use the second Drytron to trigger Ben 10. Then now you have two Drytrons with Mu Beta Mill, the third Drytron, and you just keep doing things. So that's Alphas. Just three for Alpha. And then there's go Zeta Gamma. You go Gamma tribute Zeta, then make the first Mu Beta Mill your Alpha, then Alpha tribute the Mu Beta, search, then you go Zeta tribute the Ben 10, search by Alpha. So that's another one. And there's even for Gamma Delta. This doesn't happen to me any that often anymore because I'm running one of each. So this is drawing two of the one off with no other three offs I see in the deck. So these two doesn't happen often, but it can happen. It's functionally the same as Gamma Zeta. You just make the first Mu Beta to get Alpha, then you use Alpha Tribute Mu Beta, get a Ben 10, use the Drytron that you didn't activate at the very beginning to trigger Ben 10. So these are pretty much the basic combos just within the Drytrons. The only pair that doesn't work is Zeta Delta doesn't combo. Zeta Delta requires because you never get to see your ritual monster, so you won't be able to put two of the Drytrons on the board at any situation if that's the only two cards you have. So for any other pair, you pretty much work by themselves. Just draw any pair, you should be able to full combo. And then those are the combos within Drytrons. The next are pretty much the same. We always use Ben 10. So the Ben 10 combo involving Alpha Ben 10, Zeta Ben 10, and occasionally Delta Ben 10, but you need, what was the requirement? You need Delta Ben 10 and either like you need a ritual spell for it. Does monster work? Does monster work? The monster also works. So you can think this way: if you open Delta, for example, Delta plus Medianus or Delta plus a ritual spell, this is essentially just turn Delta into a Zeta, right? These two cards are equal to a Zeta if it's resolving. So all the combos you can do, you can just like if you open Delta with a combination of other cards, Delta just become a substitute of either Alpha or Zeta, which make Delta Ben 10. It's like it combos, but it's you need a little bit more than just your only two cards. So these are the Ben 10 thing. That's another three combos. How many was it? Like three Zeta, Zeta Gamma, then Gamma Delta. So that's five. Now it's three. That's eight combos total now for the two card combos. And then the last one, well, before I go into the other cards, is Diviner. Diviner actually only works with Zeta. Because if you even though Alpha is like the best starter in the deck, Alpha Diviner actually doesn't combo because Diviner gets you Ben 10 for your Alpha to tribute Ben 10 summon, but now you have no access to ritual spell in any possible ways. So these two, even though they are the best starter in the deck in general, they doesn't combo with just to each other. But Zeta, on the other hand, it works. You go Diviner Ben 10, Zeta Ben 10, grab your ritual spell, then you ritual summon the Ben 10 back. Now you have 2/6 into Beatrice. Beatrice mill your Gamma. Gamma bring the first Drytron back, make me Vita, mill the third Drytron, keep comboing. So, and these are the 9 basic combos, basic two card combos. In this build specifically, after I testing recently, free prep, or a combination of, well, the prep is always going to turn to Ben 10. So you can see like anything that can turn to Ben 10 is the same as a prep. Pre-prep is essentially equal to down plus perfection. And therefore, like resolving these actually combos, actually almost full combo, even though you did not open any Drytrons. I guess I can go through this combo first because like majority of people probably already familiar with these ones because they're been in the format for quite long. This one, you go summon, ritual at the back, then Ben 10 gonna trigger, Ben 10 gonna grab your diviner, diviner gonna summon. That's your one. That's your first Arclight search, and then the Arclight can usually I will get a ritual spell here. Now you have 2/6. You go these two into Beatrice. Beatrice have to detach the perfections. You want to summon it back. Here you mill the excuse me. Here you mill the Delta. Then use Delta tribute to Ben 10. Review the ritual spell that you search off the diviner. You draw another card. There's a good amount of chance you draw a Drytron this way because in theory, when like these already pull out a lot of cards in your deck, right? You did not open any Drytrons, and there's still like a 12 copy of Drytron here available in your deck, and you draw one off it. The odds of you drawing Drytron is pretty high in this situation. But even if you don't, you can just always, this Ben is gonna grab your search. Probably just gonna be a fairy like Ava. You can just easily tribute as Delta, summon your perfection back. Now these two pre-prep 2 card turning to perfection Beatrice Ava in hand. Beatrice is gonna mill your second Drytron for next turn. Perfection here still have 3 negates. And honestly, if you do open just a handful of non-Drytron engine cards, you probably have more fairies than you are expecting here. Like this was like what pre-prep. So you have 3 more cards. At least like 1 or 2 of them gonna be under more fairies in the terms of perhaps extra foolishness or just the fairies themselves. So this is one way I actually comboed it quite a lot without any Drytron in my Drytron deck. And it's very powerful. And also, especially I'm going to point out extra foolish. Extra foolish is just half of a pre-prep. Because it gets you whichever you're missing. It can even work as a prep where it gets you Ben 10. So this one, because you always make Arclight, you get your search Ben 10, perfection, or Dom based on the one you're missing. And going second, worst case, it's also an untouched pop, right? If that's needed in this situation. And Diviner is doing the same thing with Extra Foolish because they both sending Arclight. But Diviner require normal summon and kind of take a little bit more hand traps. And then, you will eventually get to search a Diviner if these cards go through. So Diviner isn't like a good starting point for these to pair up these, unless that's the only option you have. So after I talk about the basic combos, why? Let's go back to the beginning. Why did I say Drytron doesn't lose to any singular hand trap? Where is it? All right. Here's the thing. We talk about how to combo with Alpha Zeta. We talk about how to combo with um, Zeta Diviner and Zeta Benten. Those are, if you don't know the specific details, you can go just, there should be still short videos on the channel. It's slightly different than before, but, or you can just play around with your cards. Those are the basics. You see, Alpha Zeta is full combo. Zeta Benten or Zeta Diviner is full combo. And I run a good amount of all these cards. There are, even in my build, there is what? There's 3 Alpha, 2 Nova, 2 Emergency, 1 Foolish, making this 3, 2, 2, 1. So 8 copies of Alpha. Same for Zeta. There's 8 copies of Zeta as well. And how many? Well, these two are essentially the same in the situation here, right? So I just put them together. There are 3 Diviner, 1 Benten, 3 Prep, and 2 extra Foolish. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So 3, 4, 4 plus 3 sevens. So there's 9 copies of these. You're drawing a 3-card combo out of an 8, 9 numbers. And if you draw these, like the 3-card combo here, you're not losing to Ash, not losing to Gamma. Because they usually, majority of people, almost all people will just stop Alpha. That's essentially the correct way to stop it. Because just to cut off your access to Benten is the highest odds for them to win. However, if you already have Benten or have an access to Benten, able to combo this way, like I have so many situations where even like for example, I open Millennium Eyes, Links to Fear Millennium Eyes, and I go Alpha Tribute Zeta, my opponent Ash, I'll just ignore it. There might be a draw afterwards, right? So I just don't even need to cut Ash because I can actually play into Ash. And Gamma is the same except Ash. The Alpha will just fall into Grave that would keep your hand, but you don't need it anyway. And so this is essentially how, if you only look at 2-card combos, these are quite fragile to anything. But once they are like kind of amplifying together, you're not losing to any singular hand trap. If your opponent, like for example, you go Alpha Tribute Zeta, he Ash, then you try to Zeta Diviner, you normal Diviner, he Imperm. All right, cool. At this point, it might be very tough because now like you're facing 2 hand trap range, which is getting hard. But if it's just one singular hand trap, doesn't matter Imperm, doesn't matter Nib, doesn't matter Gamma or Ash, as long as they're not Psycho Reader or Draw, which they're normally not in the main at the current moment. By the time I record this, might be different in the future, like Joel. But by the time I record it, I'm not losing to any hand trap. I'm not losing to any singular hand trap in the main deck. And this is also why, if you look at part 1, why my prohibition that's supposed to be cross out only has Draw and Psycho Reader as targets in the side. Because I just don't even see myself really need to cross out the either Imperm or Valor or even Gamma or Ash, because I can just play into this. And in addition to everything like these, there are still pots to find you everything. Or maybe you can even pair up the orange at the very beginning before you even start combo. So you have another negate for it. And if you start with pre-prep and put like perfection as the first thing to your board, you're also not losing to anything. Right? So the way I build a deck, there's like, I'm not expecting my opponent really stopping me unless I draw bad, which, well, if that's the case, it happens. But if I draw just average, I'm auto winning game 1 every time I go first, which happens half of the time in the tournament because it's coin flip, going first and second dice roll, right? So that's why, like, I had so many auto wins game 1. I think. Let me check my. I won throughout the tournament. I didn't win every single dice roll. I won like about half of them, which mathematically that's how it goes. But I won like almost all the game ones. The only one I lost, well, on my phone, on my notes says I lost, was the one I just didn't even need to play, so I just didn't even do it. I just passed turn. So for all the games, all the rounds I played, all the games I won every single game one, and just having that kind of like background as it, you are like the odds of like doing well in the tournament when you are winning at least half of the game once are super crazy. Like I think if you I didn't read Hoban's book before, but for anyone who did, I believe there's a section where he talk about just auto wins. Combo decks are usually better in the format because they just have so many situations where they auto win the tournament. And this is how this is essentially what I'm doing. And then so that's why I really like my build. I don't even think I'm going to change anything in the main. The only thing that could change is if people start playing draw in the main, that I'll have to switch something small around just to have an answer to it. But right now, for how my engine works, I don't think I need to change anything. And that's about it. So that's about the basic, like, it's not really a specific combo video because majority of the combos has been already covered here and there, either on my channel or some other channels. But but the general idea is here, and I don't see many people really talk about it in any of the, well, at least the Drytron videos I've watched. So I knew it for a long time, but I saved it until now. Save it until I'm actually getting results from, until I cashed off on the knowledge. So now everyone can know it because I already want things with it. So that's about it. I guess I will do. I will still go through like a couple small combos just to demonstrate how the idea is. Uh, so Alpha Zeta Diviner isn't that hard to draw. Well, Diviner can just be Ben 10 as well. We'll take out the last two as like two droplets. So let me just do only Alpha Zeta normally, and you'll see a difference. So Alpha Zeta, get Ben 10 times the speed run. Where the fuck is Ben 10? Well, pretend we grab the Diviner, which is add another droplet. So this is Alpha Zeta. Grab the Diviner. Mu Beta, Mu Gamma. Oh god, why are these 9 orders again? Gamma. Well, no, I forgot to grab the as well. Then, what I like to do is get Ben 10 L, get Gamma L, get this Ben 10 effect again. This time we'll search. What did I search? This one did that. I'll grab Perfection. And then spell bounce it back. Normal Diviner effect. Get Dawn by sending Arclight. Activate Ritual Spell. Bring Ben 10 back. Activate Dawn. Tribute Ben 10. Summon at Ben 10 back. Then Ben 10 gonna search Ava. In Spanish. These 4 monsters. Well, there are a couple ways. I can either go with Link People IP and another thing just left there, or I just start going to the full material Appaloosa, which happens a lot. Having a full material Appaloosa, see, these two does look kind of just redundant, and because they're essentially doing the same similar thing. But because I have a full material Appaloosa, now I can just negate every single monster effect with the Appaloosa and negate every single spell effect with my Perfection. So these two kind of covers each other together. Oh yeah, something the chat just reminded me. I'm not playing Dragoon because I can't really. Well, you see, I'm one of those blessed human being where if I play Dragoon, I always start 4v5. There's one day I tested Dragoon. I played a whole night of Stun by Main Phase, Red Eyes Fusion Beatdown Attack. I played a whole night of that, and I never want to do that again. So, if you are the other spectrum of the blessed human beings that would never draw your ferocious dragon or ultimate wizards or just the fusion itself. It's 100% correct and 100% better to randomize the dragoon package. But if you're one of me, uh, think about just considering about your insanity of the day. Don't do that to yourself. And I easily made the decision where I think I just don't want a back card. I just don't want deck cards in my deck. So that's an opinion on my dragoons. I don't want to draw I don't want to draw yellow cards again ever. So this is why I just showed alpha zeta. So my alpha zeta is usually ultimates plus some number of fairies plus Apple's 4. That's my alpha zeta. And then there is, so I guess we can do a little bit about Zeta Diviner. Diviner, yeah, well, here's the Benton. Zeta Benton. Zeta Benton, search Ritual Spell. Benton, search. Here I need to search Edaten. Use Ritual Spell, swap these, make Beatrice. Where is it? Make B-Rise. B-Rise effect. Get your Gamma. And Gamma the Edaten. Bring this back as spell back. These two into Mu Beta effect, Mu Alpha. Then here goes detach 1, summon Edaten. Detach 2, summon Benton. I'll go activate. Miss something? Wait a second. Oh no, wrong order. So it'll be so let me see. These are here. Will be activate summon Edaten and Edaten at the back. Then go Alpha Tribute Edaten. Search Perfection. Then go Ritual Summon Edaten again. Edaten this time will not want to add the Medianus. We'll search Dawn instead. And activate Dawn, tribute it, summon, use Dawn to add an Edaten back to him. And these two turn into a IP up there. So this is Zeta Diviner. And during opponent's turn, you get to resolve the Beatrice. Like, this doesn't look that particularly good, but this happens a lot after you pre-prep. Like, your hand could just be prep, pre-prep, and then Nova for the Zeta. So, this is like, okay, even by itself, and it gets better if you have, like, more fairies in hand. Because this will also get 2, so your ending was like, this 3 negates, and if you need either Appaloosa or Unicorn. So now you see now you've seen Alpha Zeta and Zeta Diviner. This is where really high school math and college math comes in. You now know how to do 1+1 and 1+2. Time to calculate the mass of the sun. That's kind of question. So now you know Alpha Zeta, you know Zeta Diviner. If all these cards pair to each other, what could happen? Let's just do this way. You go Alpha Zeta, you put an Ash. Very easy to happen, right? Just stay in hand. You go Diviner, do the Zeta Diviner combo. Grab your Benton. So everything will go the same. You just keep going through everything, going through a Beatrice, going through a Gamma. But then, I guess we'll actually just do it. So this tribute, summon, get this. This Benton here actually has to get perfection, so you won't be able to. This summon. Send tribute perfection. Tribute perfection, or this will mill delta. Then. Okay. Tribute perfection. Summon at this back. These two into new beta. Mill your delta. And then so this will be the second summon. You can go should be this one. Bring this back. And you can go delta tribute alpha earlier to draw a card first, and then do these and these two going to IP as well. So you see, you took an Ash on the alpha, which usually hurts and can sometimes just tell, like a bad Drytron player will just scoop after their Ash on the alpha. But if you know how to play everything well, this is Ash Gamma. No, this is Ash Zeta Diviner, where your alpha get Ash, and I'm still ending on IP Beatrice Perfection, and just gonna get two more fairies here, assuming all my other cards in my hand are dead. Right? So this is how you combine the two card combos into three card combos that works very well against hand trap or any possible interruptions. So this is a way of doing this thing. It's very hard to easily explain in a video. It will probably just be easier if you have your deck or have it on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro or Duel Book just to experiment by yourself. Just draw the opening hand. Pretend a very common hand trap being used, such as like Ash on your Zeta, which happens every single time. Okay, so I kind of forgot to cover one thing in the stream while I was doing the part of part of the P2 doing the combos, where this part will be edited into part 2 right before the ending, so you'll get to see a little bit more things. Like I mentioned earlier in the P2, Alpha Zeta plus either Diviner or Ben 10, you're able to play. Well, it's not Ben 10. Alpha Zeta Ben 10, you get to play against like one singular hand trap very well, right? But here's me using the example to show you why I don't play a lot of Drytrons actually. Because if you play a lot of Drytron, you have a lot of cases where you open like Alpha Zeta Gamma, right? These are the best three Drytrons, and some other people's build you play like three of each with your like whatever copies of Nova Emergency field spells. But if you simulate it with this kind of settings, you go Alpha Tribute Zeta, get Ash. What can you really do here with the rest of the Drytrons? Your Zeta can tribute Gamma and grab you the Ritual spell. Where is it? Bottom. Get you the Ritual spell. Well, let me see. So Alpha Tribute Zeta, get Ash, Alpha stay in hand, Zeta in the graveyard. You go Zeta Tribute Gamma, grab the Ritual spell, Zeta summon. Then you go Gamma Tribute the Zeta summon to make a Mu Beta. Mu Beta here, mill Draconets. And then you activate Ritual, detach one, and detach the Tribute the Alpha, summon the Draconets back. Well, you probably add this back. So the best you can do is like Alpha Zeta Gamma is only Draconets plus Mu Beta with only one negate. This is actually just like a significantly weaker board to a point. One spell trap negate and a usually send one because your opponent probably won't even put two things on the board for you to really send those. So like send one, just like this is essentially a Dryden, right? A Dryden plus a one spell trap negate is just weak. It's just not enough for a lot of the going second, especially when you're doing like a 3-card combo against an Ash. Like the 3-card combos in the deck should performing much better than this. Also, if like the first thing wasn't the Ash, it was a Gamma, then the Alpha will be staying in the graveyard. Now you don't even have a material for Mu Beta because you have to detach. Because when you Ritual Summon, Alpha will be in a graveyard, these two will be underneath, so you have to detach both. Or even just tribute Mu Beta itself as well to summon your Draconets. At this point, you're like all you have is a Draconets, and that's just not enough to win. This is like a big issue. I kind of experienced it when I was playing relatively higher number of Drytrons, especially when I was playing multiple Gammas. It's like having the Gamma as the third combo piece in addition to the combo piece you usually start doesn't make your board any bigger when you get interrupted. It like this board, it's something. It can be just enough, but usually isn't enough. And that's like a big issue I kind of came up after. I still run Draconis just for what if like this kind of hand actually happened. I still have this option, but so this is like really a backup solution. But realistically, I don't want to go. I don't ever want to go into a board like this. It just this board isn't enough to win. That's the big issue. Like even you are able to replace, for example, you have like another normal sum here. You replace these with like well in that case the part of build will be Dragoon Draconids, right? You still like simplify the game state so much to a point. It's very risky. Dragoon Draconids, after you like throw all your cards away, well, this is probably going back to your hand. All these three will most likely to be in the graveyard, right? Your Dragoon gonna pitch even more cards from your hand, and your Draconids isn't really a good interruption. So even if I'm playing Dragoon and it was Dragoon Draconids, it still feels not enough to win a game. And then that's why in my build I'm playing very less copies of just the Drytrons because having more Drytron doesn't make it much better to a point. But if I have a lot of fairies in addition to the Drytron, the board can be exponentially better. That's why that's the ultimate reason why I only run one Gamma and I kind of forgot to cover it during the stream. Kind of a little bit exhausted, so I'm gonna edit this whole part into the end of part two, right before I finish the conclusion, the ending part. So, and I guess we'll cut into the endings and see ya. So these are the basics, and then this is very deep in terms of like it's not something very basic you'll see you just randomly grab on YouTube. It's kind of some hardcore Drytron combos theories here. And I hope now since I already cashed out on it, I hope everyone can capitalize it. And then, in my opinion, in the right pilot, in the right hands, this is the unbeatable best deck in the current format. And that's my take. Feel free to tell me what you think. Ask me questions, which I think a lot of people will because they don't understand the deck as much as I do. But that's fine. I'll try to answer them. And I hope everyone like it. And this is part two. I will. I'm glad everyone made through the both part one, part two profile. And thanks for all the congratulations to my second place. Unfortunately, I didn't get first, but I think I did well enough to prove it, to prove what I was thinking about the entire deck. So that's it for the deck profile, and hope everyone like it. See ya.